Hi everyone, today we're going to be reviewing campaign contributions and costs. We're going to be talking about campaign finance and how much a campaign really costs and what are the influencing factors. As we're going through this presentation, I'd like everyone to be open to the campaign contributions and costs notes. As we're going through this, you're going to be filling in keywords from the PowerPoint into your notes. So first of all, as we've discussed, running a campaign is very expensive. Running a campaign costs a lot of money because, as we talked about, media is a major player in a campaign, and we need to make sure that we are that the campaigns and the political candidates have enough money for their advertising on their political views, but also for their candidacy. And so, as we're seeing already for the 2016 presidential race, running a campaign is very expensive, not only for Democratic candidates, but also for Republican candidates. Firstly, let's look at this political cartoon. In this cartoon, it says, according to our estimates, a campaign budget around $6.2 million is needed to successfully sing your praises. Take a moment and think about what the meaning of this cartoon is. You might think that one of the ideas is that $6.2 million is a lot of money, and to sing your praises, this is often thought of that maybe sometimes people can buy an election because singing your praises, that they'll be voting more for you. And unfortunately, we see this, that the more money a candidate has, the more likely they might be able to win an election, because not necessarily that they have the best ideas for our country, but because they are the ones that have the most money to be influencing media and being and your exposure to that candidate. So raising money for a campaign is very important. Because of this, it requires candidates to do extensive fundraising activities. So they're going to hold dinners, they're going to hold other political events where people would donate money in order to go to that candidate. They can't all spend their own money, and many of them don't spend a lot of their money. Some of them do, but they need to make sure that, you know, if they do not win, that they still have the money that they would need for their own maintenance. And so they are going to fundraise to get other people's money to support their campaign. So it also, as we know, since campaigning is very expensive, it gives advantages to wealthy individuals. And we're seeing this. The people that have run for president and other national offices do tend to have their own money to begin with. For example, the Republican candidate Donald Trump is a real estate mogul, so he owns many, many different types of real estate all over the world. And we've also had President George W. Bush, who was the owner of a baseball team. And then we've had very high-functioning lawyers on the Democratic Party who have also been, JFK, Kennedys have had a lot of money individually themselves. Because of the cost is so expensive, we also encourage the development of what a political action committee is. And we're about to talk what this is, but this is definitely a concept you'll have to know. Political action committees have major influence on our Congress, on our government, and we call them PACs often. So what is a political action committee? A political action committee is a political organization established by a corporation, labor union, or special interest group designed to support candidates by contributing money. So what happens is people group together that have a common view about what government should be doing, or about an issue. Some of the largest political interest groups come from special interest groups. And these are people that have the same general view of how government should be operating. And what they do is they also have part of their organization to raise money for their cause. And then what that group, either corporation, labor union, or special interest group will do, will donate that money to a candidate that supports their cause. So what these PACs do is they give issue-oriented special interest groups an increased influence. Here are some special interest groups that are ones that are mostly well known. We have the NRA, we have the National Organization of Women, we have AARP, Association of Retired Persons. These are groups of people that have a common interest. As you might assume, National Rifle Association, if you join the National Rifle Association, you believe in your gun ownership rights. Believe in National Organization Women, you want more women's rights and more women equality. So what they do is they join an interest group because they believe in a cause. Then part of that interest group will be to raise money for giving money to their cause. And then what the PAC will do is they'll determine in an election which candidate would best support their issue. And then they will be able to donate money as a PAC. The benefit of this is that a PAC has less government less government regulations of how much a person can give. So a PAC will be able to give a lot more money to a candidate or to a political party than an individual person. And also, if you think about it, it's like our freedom to assemble. If you're grouping together for an interest and there's a lot of people that support that viewpoint, it's more likely that that viewpoint will get more media, will get noticed more, rather than just one person talking about gun ownership or women's equality. But we do see that this is a problem. We see that, people the wealthier ones that are running for candidacies, or that, fundraising is such a major influence that it just tends to be more of a popularity media contest than necessarily who's necessarily right for the job. So there have been attempts to reform campaign finance to limit this. So what we're seeing is that raising costs of campaign finances have led to efforts to reform campaign finance laws. For example, there are limits to how much one individual may contribute to a political candidate. More recently, our Supreme Court has ruled that this is it's not right necessarily to limit how they give money, because it kind of goes back to freedom of expression. If we're how is the government able to share that where you can spend your money? Because that is you just pretty much saying that you support a candidate or support a view. So lately there has been a little bit more lifting of these regulations, especially on PACs, about how much money that they can give, which is where we've seen the creation of super PACs being developed. We're going to continue. So this is a difficult topic, but again, the main points are that raising money for a campaign is very important for a candidate to win an election, but there is that balance of who's getting the emphasis and how much money is actually impacting the election, and still is who is best for the job. What I'd like you to do after now taking those few notes is I'd like you to go back to on your notes page. There's a few questions at the bottom here. 1, 2, 3 questions. And I'd like you to answer those questions as a result of what you've just heard in the presentation. Thank you.